Me and my brother kind of grew up in foster home, so we were there for about a year or two. And then my parents were, alcoholics and drug addicts. So I was like, I'm just gonna work. I'm just gonna start working. I kind of gave up at that point.
I was still going through postpartum. And when I lived in Oklahoma, the person that I was living with was not very motivational. She made me feel like, you had a baby, you ain't gonna make it. You did this at 16, 17, you're not gonna make it.
I got kicked out of my house at 16. So then I moved way north. But my school was way west, and I did not have a really good car. That and I didn't want to go. In the first place, I don't like high school really at all, so I just didn't want to go. And then in September, found out I was pregnant, and that was just another thing to be like, all right, see ya.
I transferred schools 3 times because bullying was a major issue. I dropped out 2016, I believe. When I realized that I wasn't going to graduate on time, I just kind of quit going. I didn't see the point in trying to finish if I was never going to do it on time. And then when I found out I was pregnant, everything changed.
I came here and, I had a YAN and they appointed me somebody. And they're very, got me up on everything.
That's just a different type of motivation. Like, somebody that want to see you make it that don't know you at all, they I want to see you walk across that stage, and I'll help you do it by any means. I'll give you a ride to school. I'll drop you off at home. I'll pick your daughter up from daycare. And that means a lot.
I don't know, it just makes me feel like I really am not doing this alone, because that's what I don't want to do either, is do this alone, especially now with a kid. That's my big hope, is that I can be a great example for him, and to realize that, if other people are doing it, you can do it. Right, dude? You can do it. You're going to. Yeah, you are.
They really push for you to do better. They absolutely want you to succeed, and they honestly and truthfully want you to do better, because if I don't have that support system or that motivation to stay on track, I probably won't, and I will end up right back where I was before.
Our mission is to connect students that have dropped out of school or they're in a process of disengaging from school. We try to assist them and support them to get back into school or start attending school on a regular basis so that they can achieve their high school diploma. Not all of our youth are successful. They're at high risk. Many of them have experienced very traumatic events in their lives. And I'll tell you what, having been at the D2 Center for years, when you meet these youth and you see the interaction between them and their youth academic navigators, and the stories that they have are just absolutely inspiring.
I had a tragic death in my family, so that kind of took a toll on me, pushed me back a little bit.
It's hard to go to school every day when you're mourning and have everyone around you know you're mourning, and every person that sees you is like, how are you? What's going on? How's that going?
Grieving was a really big part of me kind of giving up and not wanting to do this anymore. To be honest, it was hard. It was really hard. It was just, I wanted to give up. I didn't want to do this no more. I don't want to graduate. You know what? Forget all y'all. I'm not going to call you back, Jesse. Mom, leave me alone. I don't want to do this.
I lost a lot of my motivation because of a lot of the obstacles at home. They were trying to figure out how to get food for everybody in the house. They were trying to figure out just making sure that the heat was on. It's just kind of one thing after another with just the daily struggles that her family had to endure. Tired of never seeing my son and him constantly turning away from me because I had been gone for so long. I had to juggle between 2 jobs and school and still making time for him. It was really hard, to where I just felt like, all right, school's not an option anymore.
We all deal with grief in such different ways, and I knew that the biggest thing that I could offer her was the patience to wait until it was time to move forward and talk more about those things.
Actually, one night, my uncle kind of spoke to me. I never really told nobody this, but my uncle kind of spoke to me in a dream. He said, do it. And then I woke up, I just started crying. I was like, what did that mean? What does he mean, do it? And then all of a sudden, it was like this spark. And everybody, they started helping me. They were like, what's up, Adasia? What you need?
I think what's so unique about being able to work at the D2 Center and kind of be in such a youth serving organization that really takes on that mission of like what's best for the youth and what individually will serve them the best. It gives you the freedom to really have the patience to develop that long-term relationship that's so necessary and so important to provide that authentic support. When they hit that stop sign and not make it be a dead end, make it be a right or a left turn instead of a dead end, it just continues to inspire me.
I went back to school back in May. It really like pushed me to want to graduate after realizing that like, look, you've only got a few more months left. Your birthday's like literally in less than 30 days. Like, it's time crunch. When she first started up, it was a credit here, a credit there. But then when she like this last like month and a half, she was like, staying up all night to do stuff. Knowing that my son was sleeping in his bed and I was doing something to better his future, the fact that I could look over and be like, he's peacefully sleeping and I may be tired and I may be drained, but I know that when I get a credit at the end of this week, it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna feel great. Every time I got a credit, it boosted me up a little bit more. I'd go to school the next day and I'd pull out my papers and I've got scribbles of pen, marker, Sharpie, highlighter all over my papers, and I turn them in and I'm just like, yeah, I have a kid and I managed to do it still. It's motivation. Like, he's the reason I wanted to continue to do it. She is the definition of perseverance. She is the definition of when you put your mind to something, like, you can achieve it. It's the best feeling in the world to know that like you started that chain of their thought process and you got that piece moving for them, and now hopefully like that student can keep that ball rolling. I can honestly say that the D2 Center is the reason I'm here today, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them.